Good evening, everyone. Let me just do a little zoomy. Right. How are we this evening? We are going to be doing some art journaling. This evening I'm going to be using the Dilutions Classic Journal, and we're going to be using some of the Bee Crafty Transparencies and a few other bits. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for a few people to join in, and then we're going to get started because, obviously, first of all, I want to show you the new media papers. Okay? They're so good. They're so awesome. You're really going to love them. And that's good news. Okay? So as you join in, if you can share, like, give us a thumbs up, comment, or everything, honestly, it all really, really helps. And we really appreciate it. So I'm just setting up my phone here. Well, this is the thing. It's not my phone because my phone is broken. And so it's an old phone, which doesn't do all the things that I like it to do. I'm sure it's not on purpose, but I'm not willing to ask. There we go. Like for the minute, I had it on Bee Crafty. No, it won't let me go again. Here we are. There we go. Linda, Dawn, Alison, Deborah, hello. Shireen, you're a sucker for punishment. Yeah, you are if you're with me, because you're with me every week. Okay. So like I say, tonight we are working in the Classics Journal. I think we might do a little bit of starting at the very beginning. Very good place to start. I'm trying to fill up some more pages, aren't I? So I think the lovely sort of media stock that's in the front of this will be perfect to show you. Okay, so Sam and I, just quickly actually, before the main event, as it were, I just want to show you, Sam has found these amazing bottles. If you like doing mixed media things, or you have things to keep little things, Sam's found these lovely mini bottles and you just put them in the steampunk and junk category. I just thought I'd tell you so nobody misses them. Oh, and anybody that was waiting on the MDF tree holders for Christmas projects, they are also back in stock. Okay, just a little bit of housekeeping for a second. Alright, so do you remember the fantastic face and background media papers we have? They're made of a Japanese rice paper, so they're heavier than, for example, collage paper or stamping tissue, but they're not a heavyweight paper. They're a Japanese rice paper. Well, what Sam and I have done is we have designed some of these in colour, okay, so that you can do, you know, if you're looking at something to kickstart your mojo. And in terms of kickstart, that's why we've called these catalyst papers. Okay, so I'm going to do set number 1 first. Alright, which I'm currently holding upside down. So we have this one. And these have been used, these have been done using Bee Crafty inkables and big ones and stamps and things like this. So they will coordinate with all of your Bee Crafty stash for you to add in more if you want to, okay? So those are the first two. So they're in packs of 5. Alright, so we're going to go through every single one. So that is set number 1. And you'll be able to see the bee. You've got loads of different colours across here. And there's loads of different inkables and stamps and inks and pen work and all this sort of thing that have been used to create these, and that's so you really can mix and match them with all your other Bee Crafty stash. Okay, absolutely stunning. And you can also mix and match between the packs. Okay, so this is set number 1. Okay, Alison, I'm going to need more than 1 pack of each. You probably will, my duck. I mean, I'm not sure how many packs of the faces you went through, but I know it was more than 3. Okay, so you can see there's lots of negative used, and all these sort of techniques that we like to play with, but they're with this really fantastic rice paper, Japanese rice paper, so they're easy to adhere. You can layer them up, okay? You can make them more translucent by wetting the back. They've got all those capabilities of the original media paper that we brought you. And I might actually change it to media rice paper so people know. But it is in the description that it is Japanese rice paper. Okay, second set, and this is a real sort of mixed bag. Okay, so you've got this one. Okay, so say you're suffering a little bit of mojo loss and you're just really looking for some colours to play with. I love this one because you can put it any way. It doesn't have a right way up or a wrong way up or anything like that. And you've just got these beautiful sort of metallic tinges to it. And it's just fun. Okay. And then we've got this one. And this one's been made using stamps and washi tape and all these sort of things. So you've got this fantastic sort of washi tape effect, but it's all completely one-dimensional. So it's easy to stick on top of or stamp on top of. Okay. Lots of layering, that one. Lots of layering with things drawn behind and then washi tape over the top and all that sort of malarkey. Okay, and then these ones are very much more is more. Okay, so we'll go for this one. Again, we're getting into a lot more hand-drawn work on these next couple. So again, really good for adding in the inkables and stamps that you have. Okay, now we've got this one here. So again, lots of elements. I think this one's going to be really good for tearing. Okay, lots of freehand things, which is absolutely great. And then this one, which is sort of like a mix of all of these together. You've got some tape, you've got some stamps, you've got some hand-drawn elements, you've got some book pages, but again, it's all one layer. Okay, which means it's really easy to rip, tear, use to put your journal pages together, make scrapbook pages, make scrapbook papers. Okay, just really sort of, like I say, mix and match. So you could take something, for example, from set 1, and then add in some more colours. You can cut out some of these elements, stick them on, layer them up. Okay, so what do we think? These are really good. These are really good thumbs up. I absolutely love them. What can I say? I really very much do. So we're really pleased with them. We're really pleased with them. And we hope you will be too. Oh, I robbed that one out of the other set, didn't I? And like I say, the nice thing about these is there's a real mix. If you just want to add something on quickly, or you want to add a photo in or something like that, there's lots on these. Similarly, you know, on this one there's quite a bit of white space. You could add in other colours. Okay, these would be great on MDF. Anne, you're absolutely right. You could put these on your MDF. Oh, we might do some MDF. Not today because I haven't planned it and I need to plan MDF. Okay, and then again, if you're just looking for something, do you know, I'm going to put this down as my base because I don't want to use my sprays. I'm not interested in getting that messy, you know. But I'm going to layer some of these on top. So, pretty good. Pretty good, I think. Okay? So, shall we get started and use some? I think that's probably a good idea. But I think I'm going to start with... Ooh. Start with this one. I think I'm going to go for some really sort of quick and easy art journal pages. I think we'll use some of these and some of the transparencies and just do some really quick, easy art journal pages. Okay, so should we go for a double feature? Should we go for sort of, or should we go for a really sort of, I know I'm aware I've said sort of like 35 times now, so I am sorry. They're all mixed up, but that's okay. This one. This one. Okay. Alright, so I think we're going to go with that one. Ooh, something else I did forget. I was supposed to tell you, and I did not. The winter wordy stickers that Sam used are also now available in the black and the white. Okay, Sam used them on her baubles on MDF day. So the winter wordy stickers are also now available. I mean, that's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot of stickers. Lovely. Okay. So I think we do a bit of a double feature with both of these. So I'm going to start off by, do you know what, I think I'm going to trim the edge off this one so it's sort of like full size, and this one I'm going to tear. You love the big leaf? See, when I did the big leaf, it just seemed too bold, which is why I then put the washi over the top, and it just worked. It would just seem too much when you could see it all in its oneness, for want of a better description. Yeah, you could lay them onto coasters, absolutely. We do actually have some coasters coming in the pop-out, so you can just pop out the coasters rather than, you know. So we do have those coming. Right. Scissors. Because I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to snip around this one, and that's going to make it the right sort of size. So this is going to be quick and speedy art journaling, and relatively mess free by Beverly's standards. And I'm talking about myself in the third person again, which is weird. Okay, so if you have, as usual with the MDF and templates, you know, if there is anything that you think, oh, I wish they did that, well, you need to tell us, and then, you know, we just might. So, like I said, I've cut the strips off that to give it a relatively clean edge. They're not perfectly straight. That sort of thing really doesn't fuss me. If it does you, obviously you can take a little more time. No problem at all. However, what I'm going to do with this one, just to give it a slightly different approach really, is I'm going to go around with a wet paintbrush. Okay, and we're going to give it a slightly more torn edge, I think. Just a little bit more feathery. Touch more unpredictable. I think it sort of goes with the script that's on it, personally. I just think that sort of works. Go around there. I'll let that soak in a little bit actually. Wouldn't it be great if I had a water brush? I actually do, I'm being psychic. Okay. ATCs, yes. You know. Well, funnily enough, well, and this is the whole point. So the challenge for this month, if you haven't already seen, Sally has already put the album up. The challenge for this month is going on from MDF Day, because she figured you'd all have some lovely new MDF. And I know a lot of you do, from MDF Day. Is use that in the challenge. What are the kind of paper? It's Japanese rice paper. So it's weightier, for example, than collage paper or our stamping tissue. It's much, much heavier than that, and actually takes ink sprays and things like that really well without disintegrating to nothing. So it's great also for adapting and changing to however you want it to be. But I also like to make it translucent, so it's the same as the faces and the backgrounds that we did that were just the black on white, which is also great. But what I am going to do, I am still going to, although we're not technically trying to go over anything on the background, I am still going to get these a little bit wet before I collage them on with my matte medium, because I think it makes them so much easier to maneuver. I think it makes them so much more pliable. But like I say, if you're layering them up, for example, the faces, see, look how translucent it's going. If you're layering up the faces and you want them to remain white, the good thing is you have that option. Whereas, for example, with collage paper, you do not have that option. Whereas this goes lovely and translucent if you want it to. So it's sort of like multi-purpose. It's a little bit on the skew if. Okay, so I'm going to go over here with our matte medium. Just around the edges, especially to make sure. And those edges are just going to melt in. And there you have journal page pretty much started. Okay, and then I'm going to, this one's already managed to dry out a little, so I'm just going to spritz on here. And then, so these are in the stamp and stickers section, Bee Crafty's papers and stickers section, not the stamp and stickers section on the website. Sam has put a link on for you. So this, sometimes it's like hanging wallpaper, but a lot more fun than that, because I would never hang wallpaper. Not because I have anything against it, it just looks very labour intensive. Okay, and again, you know, if you've got it wrong, you can lift it up a little bit, whereas I think sometimes with collage paper and even our stamping tissue, which is a touch weightier, you know, once it's down, you don't really want to be lifting it again for risk of. And the other thing with these, obviously, is if you do a stamping tissue with your spray inks or your distress, when you go to collage them in, you're going to get a certain amount of movement, okay? Because of the inks, because they're water-based inks and they're reactivated with water. But because of how these are printed, the ink's not going to move. It's all set and ready to go. So now you've got your papers in. So again, even if you were looking to make your own jumpstart journal, okay, you've bought yourself a classics, for example, which I love because you have the 3 different sorts of cardstock, and you've got it home, but it's just these pages are big and they're empty and you don't really know where to start. Okay, what you can do is you can go through with your catalysts, okay, and make your own jump starts on different pages and then coordinate around them if you wish. So, you know, it's all that funkiness. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to force these dry a little. They won't take long anyway. But let's face it, if I said to you, oh, you can do 2 full-on journal page backgrounds with stamps and washi tape and stenciling and stamping and all this sort of thing in less than 10 minutes. Brilliant. Okay, so Sam's put a link on for you there, and that will take you to the section of the Bee Crafty website where all the wordy stickers are, all the paper sets are, and whatever. So you can see the Faces media papers as well. What have you? They're just so beautiful. I haven't got any Faces media papers in here. This book seems to be primarily Faces, doesn't it? Well, there's some. Yeah, so that's one of the media faces with the paper. Media faces. I think. For example, that was done stamping tissue. On here. That's the backgrounds. From the media paper, made to go translucent. So you know, you really can mix and match them with other things. All right, I'm just gonna have a little bit more, and then we're gonna go over. This is the thing I want to show you. If you know you really want to get your mojo back, but you haven't got necessarily a lot of time to dedicate to it. You don't really know where to start. Some media papers and some acetate, and you are away. We are going to add a little bit of ink to these as well, because I want to show you how easy they are to adapt if you want them to. Now, I would always put them where you want them to be, personally, before I started adapting them. But again, that's just because of the whole movability of ink thing we were just talking about. But that's not to say you have to. Okay? So if you wanted to, for example, add some more to this before you stuck it down, you can absolutely do that. That's not a problem at all. But for example, like I said, I just like to put them down first, because that way my collage medium's down. Done. Okay. Just stamping one of the faces and sentiment on the right hand. Well, do you want me to do that then, Alison? I can do that, my love. Right, so let's go for... Which faces should we go for? I've got the original faces here, or I've got Scene and Mr. Gorgeous, as you peeps call him. I've obviously put Dream somewhere else, which is weird. I'm not sure why I'd do that, but I obviously have. Shall we do a stamped face and an acetate face? Because I was thinking an acetate face, Ali. So I'm thinking... the transparencies. So for example, just quickly, these are the original background and faces media papers. So you can really see on these. Let me get one of these out here. It's just to give you an idea of the weight, really. So if I put that paper over there, you can see the pattern underneath. Okay? Now, if I'm going to have to dry this again in a second, but it's just to show you. Okay, so if I get that wet, I'm actually going to get that wet on both sides. Just let it soak in. And then put it over the top. You can see how much more of the pattern starts to come through. It would more as well if you put more on. So it's just a case of you can get these wet or dry, and you can use them in that way to help. But I don't want to use that today. So I'm just going to quickly dry that out again, because I think we're going to go for stamps and transparencies. That back in there, so otherwise I'll be looking for it. And then we're going to go for our transparencies, and we're going to use, I think, some of our words. I have to say, when it comes to the words, I do like these, and I think we might go for a dream on there. But I do love that on there. So you can see, just with your transparencies and your catalysts, okay, how easy it would be to complete some journal pages. Alright. Have a look. Oh yes, I think that one is going right there. Absolutely. I will hear no more on it. That one's going there. So we're actually going to finish this page first. Okay. So I'm going to get, as I always do, my white Posca. Okay. Now obviously the fantastic thing about your transparencies is you can turn them to face either way. So with my Posca though, I'm just going to, on the back, do the white of the eye. Because I just think it makes them really pop out. But you can add in other highlights. I like to smudge them out a bit so they're not too. Now that I absolutely adore. Absolutely adore. I actually don't think I'm going to put a sentiment on there either. I'm so pleased with that. I can't even, just wow. Right. So what I'm going to use to stick that down is I'm going to use some collage medium, matte medium, because that way it just dries nice and matte. No one will even know it's there. Just hold that down in the corners. Okay. Doesn't need anything else, does it? And that's kind of where we're going with the catalyst papers. Okay, so if you don't want to do anything else, you really, really don't have to. You don't have to. And wouldn't that be a good way, like I say, of creating your own Jumpstart journal? You've bought the classics. These big pages are just a bit more than you want in terms of blank space, so you just want to create something. But bear in mind as well, you can rip these. You can, you know, Sam, for example, she does loads of white space, or empty space, I should say, right? So you can rip them and get twice as many pages out. You know, add little sections, cut bits out. That's what we like. But all we do say is show us what you've done, because we love to see. Not because we're nosy, obviously. We're just, you know, keen and interested. Who would ever say we're nosy? I mean, okay. So I think, which stamp do I go for? Which stamp do I go for? I almost think that one. Okay. So we're going to take, you know what we are going to do? We're going to get some stamping tissue. I do not trust myself to stamp perfectly on this lovely background that I've put down, right? So now I do want something that's going to go perfectly translucent, alright? So I'm going to get my stamping tissue. I'm not going to stamp it on top of my journal because I've got a new Versafine, like I've been telling you for the last God knows how many weeks. And and I don't want it to, but yeah, let me just lift that up a bit as well so you can see it without the light. It's so awesome. So awesome. Right, I'm just going to sit and look at that now and go, wow, I created that page in like a minute and a half. And the thing is, I suppose at least with me, you know, I am actually genuinely that impressed, because it, you know, this isn't put on impressed, this is real life impressed. Right, so I'm going to put that down. There. Yeah, no way would I have stamped that perfectly. I did get a new one, Sam. I did. I know. Now, if you're worried about, if say you want it lined up as it is on here, because they're two separate, so you can use the eye separately, all you need to do is put that on there, so you can see whereabouts you want it to go. Or put it over your backing card if you've long used the acetate, because, you know, I know that's something myself and Sam have actively encouraged. Okay, so we're just going to lift, flex, don't bend your super skinny slim to get all those details out. Lovely. And then I'm going to do a quick heat set of that before I throw any collage medium down. I did get a new one, Sam. It's amazing. It's so good. All right. And then art journal back in with this amazing page I created in minutes. Did you see? And then we're back on from that medium. And I'm going to put some of this down here. And again, the good thing with this collage tissue is you can actually use it both ways, because it does go perfectly translucent with this stamping tissue. So I think right about there. That's pretty good. Okay, so this is the thing, it's not one thing or the other. The stamping tissue can work with your media rice papers, and with your acetates, and with your stamps, and with so much more. And I'm very excited. Bam! Right, I do feel like it needs something else. Maybe a little bit of black stamping. Where is the art elements that go with this set? Here we go. The journal art elements that go with this set. I may be thinking, just, you see some of these here? Maybe just a few of these on the corners, and then an acetate here, a transparency word. Okay. So this I am going to risk for a biscuit, because if it doesn't work perfectly, it really doesn't matter. So I'm using my border block, my border super skinny slim, because they're the best thing for trying to stamp near the seam of your journal. Okay. So then, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stamp off the catalyst paper, because then it sort of creates that join. And rule of 3, so I've done it 3 times. Do you know, I was talking to my husband the other day about rule of 3, and he actually thought it was just one of those rules that I'd made up myself. I'm not saying I do that, all I'm saying is he thought it was one of those things that I just make up and tell him that it is actually a rule. And I was like, no, rule of 3 is actually a thing. You have to have things in odd numbers. We were buying Christmas decorations. And he picked up 2 little glass present Christmas decorations. And I was like, you can't do that. You have to have 3. And he said, but they won't go together on the tree. I said, it doesn't matter. So there you go. Right. So you see, so they get really nice into the seam. So it's easier to stamp if you're adding things on after, which I generally like to do. Okay. I might actually take another word look at the black ones now, because I'm wondering if these are a bit too fine and maybe we do need the black one. Just lift that up again. Okay, just bear with me a second. Did anybody see where I put my Posca? There we go. Or of course you could put something blue behind or pink behind. You could just go over there with your... Yes, I think so. You could just go over there with your archival ink. Colour it in as well. Bring it to another colour. To read the words on the stamp. Yes, I think so. So I'm just noticing the bits of the word I didn't do every time I turn it over. Because this is one of mine and Sam's favourite sentiments when we're journaling or we're putting things together on lives, isn't it? Yes, I think so. So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim off the transparency edge that's around the black, because that's now the only bit that's making it shiny. So if I put it on there like that, it's now sort of like a matte transparency, which I think looks very, very cool. So we're going to go back to our matte medium. I can't believe there was a time I didn't understand why you would buy this. I thought, what's it for? It was a different time. It was a different time. But what's... I don't understand. Why don't you just use glue? Because it's not the same thing. Yes, I think so. There we go. So, there we have it. 2 completed journaling. Art journal pages in a full-size Dilutions journal. Easy peasy. in minutes. Okay. So, like I say, these are not to replace your inks or ink pads yet. Like, that's ever going to happen in this room. Well, cupboard. Room might be stretching it a bit. Cupboard. Oversized cupboard. Anyway, I digress. But they're a way that you can kickstart. You can add more to them. But because they're completely flat, even with all the washi tape type elements and things like that on them, it means that you can then add texture paste. You can then add other things over the top. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. You can see you can stamp on them really, really well. I just wasn't really willing to risk it, which is what I generally use my stamping tissue for in my journal. Even if I've created the background without using something like this, I will probably go to my stamping tissue because it's a better idea than ruining my background. But you can see, I think this is a stamp that does get overlooked quite a bit, and it's fantastic and really, really good. So yeah, brilliant Christmas presents to set off a new journal maker. Exactly, Michelle. Because the thing is as well, like I say, these are A4-ish size. So for example, if you were starting someone off with a smaller size journal and things like that, obviously they'll get even more out of it because they can cut down smaller bits and whatever, you know, for example, if you're using a 6x6 or an 8x8. Right, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I am back in Crafting Together with All Brands tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Sally will be here at 8 PM right here. Okay, showing us something that is undoubtedly fabulous because, you know, she always does. And then Sam is here on Friday with Chit Chat Friday at 2:30, which is pretty much going to be our set time for any Chit Chat Fridays that do occur for the rest of the winter. So if she's not there at 2:30, she's probably not coming. But we will try and make sure we do keep that schedule updated at the beginning of every week so you know what is happening at Bee Crafty. Okay, if there's any other questions or anything else you need us for or anything we can help you with, you let us know. And as always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just please, just click the button. It really helps. And if you see a Bee Crafty post, like it, comment on it, or even share it if you're feeling proper generous. All right then, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.